guys, it's Mel from Melody Crochet. Nice to see you. Today we are going to be crocheting my newborn ballerina booty. They use worsted weight yarn, and for the newborn version we use an E-hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter, and if you would like to do the size 3 to 6 months for the same booty, it's the very same pattern, very same yarn, but we push this hook up to a G-hook, which is a 4.25 hook. You will of course need some scissors and a needle. If you would like the PDF pattern to follow along with, available link down below to my Etsy shop where I sell all of my patterns. This yarn is Caron Simply Soft, so when I say use size 4 worsted weight yarn, I don't mean Red Heart Super Saver. That's going to work up a lot bulkier and a lot stiffer. You're going to have to use the Caron Simply Soft or something drapey, soft and shiny like it. If you're wondering about the colors, I'm using mint and this darker green because these are going to be in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up. I just thought it would be so cute to make a little, oh my gosh, look at that. It's the tiniest 4-leaf clover ever. So I'll show you how to do that. I'll also show you the rosette and how we do the little tie-ons at the end. And the pattern is going to start at the sole and work its way up. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to start with the darker green. We're going to make the mate for this baby booty. And that means we're going to start with a slip knot. And first thing you're going to do is chain for 12. Chain loosely. We're letting the smallness of the hook take care of the smallness of our stitches. There's my 12. You're going to skip that first chain and you're placing your single crochet in the second chain from hook. But you're going to do 8 total single crochets. That's going to leave 3 unworked chains at the end. And now we're going to go to half double crochet just for a couple. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull under everything on the hook. And the next chain gets 2 half double crochets. And the one after that, the very last one, gets 5 half double crochets. The third one gets a little stitch marker to note that it's center toe. I'm going to do all 5 and then go back for my marking. Awesome. Okay. Now I need to mark this stitch. Usually I just use a piece of yarn. Contrasting makes it easier. So I count back to that 5th. So there's 1, 2, 3. It stays pretty well, so I'm not going to worry about locking it in there. Okay, now we can move on. The rest of our stitches are going to be along this side of that chain. So this is that starter chain, and we're going to work on the other side of it now. So the next stitch we run into gets 2 half double crochets. 1, 2. The one after that gets 1 half double crochet. And then we're going to go back to single crochets. You're going to single crochet into the next 7 chains on this side. And the very last one that you can access will get 2 single crochets. So here's my 7th single crochet, and the last place I can work right there will get 2 single crochets just to make that little heel rounded. Then we'll look at what we've made. Before you slip stitch, go ahead and count around and make sure that you have 28 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch into 28 stitches back, the first single crochet that you made, and your marker should be at stitch 15 when you were counting back. Chain 1, and we're going to start row 2. For row 2, you're going to start by single crocheting into the first 10 stitches. Each stitch will get 1 single crochet. There we go. We have our 10 single crochets in 10 stitches, and the next one is going to get 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So we have a little increase at this toe area, and then you're going to do 1 single crochet in the following stitch. The one after that will get another increase, 2 single crochets. The one after that will get 1 single crochet, and that is your center toe, hopefully. So feel free to move that marker. I'm not even going to take my hook out. I just reach in and grab part of that. I just weave this strand all the way through my work. It comes out easily afterward. And now I can continue. The stitch after middle will get 2 single crochets. The one after that gets 1. We're just alternating. The one after that gets 2 single crochets. Now you're going to place 1 single crochet in the next 10 stitches. There's 10. Now we have 2 stitches left, and each of those will get 2 single crochets just around this heel out. So there's 2 single crochets in this stitch and 2 single crochets in this stitch. That should be 35 stitches around. Go ahead and count before placing your slip stitch. There's 35. So I'm going to slip stitch right underneath that one. Now I know for sure I have 35 stitches to work in. Even if I put 2 in 1 stitch on accident, even if I started too early or too late on my row, I have 35 stitches around, and that's what's important. Chain 1, and we're getting ready to start row 3. The first 10 stitches in row 3 are going to be single crochets. And the next stitch gets 2 single crochets. The one after that is going to get 1 single crochet. The one after that gets 2 single crochets. Whoops, fighting my little marker there. Stitch after that gets 1 single crochet. And then I should actually have been at middle, which means I started my row a little early. And that's okay. I'm just going to skip. Go right to where I should be for placing that 3 single crochets. And this middle stitch of those 3, number 2, is now middle toe. Now we continue on. I just placed those 3 stitches, and we're going to do 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the one that follows, 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the one that follows, and now we're going to single crochet into the next 11 stitches. Awesome. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and the next 1, 2. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the row. Feel free to count back because we need to have 42 stitches around. I have this one for my 42nd stitch. It looks like it's actually from the prior row, so I must have had a little misplacement, and that's fine. It still works just great. So don't worry about being specific. We just want to make sure we have the right number of stitches on the outside. So 4 is the next row. and we're going to half double crochet into the back loops only all the way around with the same color. So chain 2, yarn over, and if you look at the stitches, you're just going to place your hook right in the middle and toward the back. I yarned over because this is a half double crochet. There we go. And that's what we're going to do in the back loops all the way around. See, as we're working in the back loops only, we get this little line here that looks like a sole of a shoe. That's what I'm after. And here we are. I've done 42 half double crochets in the back loop all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch. And before you put this down, please note that the side of the booty that will be facing out, the right side, is this one. This is the inside of the booty. The reason I point that out is because you're going to be fastening off and reattaching the yarn, and I don't want you to accidentally turn it backward. So your strands and everything should be on the inside, and that little line is on the outside of the booty. Alrighty? So you're going to yarn over. We already slip stitched into the first stitch of the row, and now, ooh, it looks like my yarn split. There we go. Yarn over and fasten off. You don't need much of a tail. We're going to be fastening on our lighter color. So I have the outside of the booty facing toward me. I'm going to attach the yarn just beside where I fastened off, because we have to keep those numbers right. Chain 1. First thing you're going to do is single crochet all the way around the booty. Now I am holding my stitches securely right alongside my work for the first 1 or 2 stitches so that I can crochet over them. Each stitch is getting 1 single crochet, and I'm just working over these little strands right here. And as soon as you get 2 or 3 in, go ahead and snip them and you'll be free of them. If you do not want to work over your tails, feel free to work them in afterward. Totally up to you. Won't make any difference. I just really prefer this method. And now I'm going to continue single crocheting all the way around. Alrighty, I'm placing my last stitch. In that stitch should be the stitch where you attach your yarn, because that wasn't actually counted as a single crochet. So I place a single crochet there, slip stitch in, chain 1, and do that all over again. 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And now I have placed 42 stitches all the way around, and I went ahead and placed my center toe marker in stitch 21. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch in to the first stitch of the row, chain 1 to raise up for the next row. And you might want to notice, if you'd like to make things simpler, go ahead and place a marker 6 stitches to the right and 6 stitches to the left in the 6th stitch from, because that's where we're going to be doing some decreases. And this is the start of row 7. You're going to start by single crocheting in the first 14 stitches. I have 6 stitches left. We're on stitch number 14, and I am 6 stitches from center. This means I'm going to start with my decreases right about here. So you're going to place 3 single crochets 2 together. So that means you're going to insert, yarn over, drop a loop, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, 3 strands on your hook, pull through everything on the hook. And again, we're going to do 3 of those. Now you should be at your center. 1 single crochet in your center. And if you'd like to move your center stitch, feel free. It's good practice because you're going to be decreasing again in a couple rows. Now we're on the other side of center stitch. We did 1 single crochet in the center stitch, and now we're going to be decreasing again. So 3 more single crochet 2 togethers. 1. And you'll notice these look a little bit open, maybe gapey compared to the other such tight stitches, but it's going to be okay because we're going to fix that in the next row. So I did 3 decrease stitches, single crochet 2 together, and now I'm going to single crochet in the next 15 stitches. Work myself all the way around, and I'm going to be slip stitching into the first stitch of the row, chaining 1. And now we're ready for the next row. The next row is really simple. We're just going to single crochet 1 time in each stitch around, which is going to be 36 total stitches. Slip stitch into the first stitch of the row, and you might notice that that really cleaned up any of those gaps that you had in the front. So with my 36 stitches all the way around, I've slip stitched into the first stitch of the row, chaining 1 for height, and we're starting row 9. You have 1 single crochet in the first 9 stitches. That should leave us 6 stitches before the middle. So here's our middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm a little prior. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more just to make sure. And now we're going to do 3 decrease stitches again. So single crochet 2 together, insert yarn over, drop a loop, then insert into the next stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over, pull under everything. We're going to do that 3 times until middle. And then you're going to be at your center stitch, single crochet 1 time in that center stitch. You won't need to have that marked anymore, so don't worry about marking it. Yarn over, and the next 6 stitches are decrease stitches again. So we have 3 decrease stitches, 1 single crochet, 3 decrease stitches, and now we're going to work our way toward the back. So you're going to single crochet 1 time in each of the next 14 stitches. That'll leave you with 30 stitches total. Alrighty, at the end of the row, slip stitching, chaining up for 1, and you're just, for row 10, going to single crochet 1 time in each of these stitches, which is 30 of them in the same color. It's just going to make that decrease area a little tidier. Then we're going to attach these straps up top and make a quick rosette. So 1 single crochet in each stitch around for row 10. Alrighty, I've worked myself all the way around, slip stitching to the first stitch of the row, fastening off. Go ahead and work in your tails and take out your stitch marker. Now we need to make the ankle tie. If you would like to take a really thin ribbon and just put it through right around here. Boop. Right around the back where you have that seam. Feel free, easy peasy, go for it. You would just put it through there and you could tie it around the ankle, make it as long or short as you like. But we're going to make a little tie. I like to use the light So I'm going to make a little slip knot. In total, I'll be chaining 70, but we're going to attach it at 35 right here. So half of it is on one side, half of it is on the other, just like this one. So go ahead and chain for 35. Here's my 35. Now I'm going to slip stitch right into this, right in the center back. I just straight from, I still have this on my hook. I'm just going straight in, grabbing that yarn, drawing up a loop. Then I'm going to bring that loop through my chain. And now I'm going to continue chaining for 35. It's well connected. So I've chained for 35. So we have 35 on this side, 35 on this side. We're all connected to the shoe. I'm going to yarn over, draw up a loop to fasten off. Grab your needle. Grab your needle and just weave right back into those chains. Just in, out, in, out. 4, 5, 6 times. And pull through. That way you can snip it without the edges fraying on you. Also, if you'd like to keep it from fraying in the future, if you think it will be washed a bit, you can use some fray stop, or I use some school glue, the non-washable kind sometimes. Totally up to you. That way it doesn't fray at the ends, because I know Simply Soft tends to. But it's nice and secure. There's a knot here, and it's weaved in. And if you'd like to use some fray stop or some glue right there, just to keep it from fraying, you're welcome to. But it pretty much disappears. Go ahead and do it on the other end too. Now we need a little something on the side. So first I'll show you my rosette. They're both super quick, but I'm going to use the coordinating darker yarn. My rosette is super simple. Some would say it hardly looks like a rose. It's just so tiny, but it totally, in my opinion, looks like a little rose. But if you put a little bit of a pearl right around there, just a little button or something, it's super, super cute. It opens it up and it keeps it open. But I like them plain, just like that, especially for new babies. So I've made a slip knot. I've attached my yarn. I'm chaining for 21. Awesome, there's my chain of 21, and now we are going to be, here's the first chain, second chain, third chain. That's the one that gets my double crochet. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over, pull under 2, yarn over, pull under 2. That's your double crochet. We're going to do 4 total in this chain. Afterward, it's going to look like that. And then you're going to skip 2 and slip stitch into the third chain. Now you're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and 4 double crochets into that next chain. So we're just making tiny little lumps into this chain. 4 total. So after these 4 double crochets, you're going to skip 2 chains and slip stitch into the third. Skip 2 chains, and you're going to 4 double crochets in that next one. Awesome. Skip 2 chains, slip stitch. Skip 2 chains. You'll be in the last chain in this situation, and you're going to do 4 double crochets. just slip stitch into that same chain you just worked into. Oops, I grabbed my tail. Slip stitch into that same chain you just worked those 4 stitches into. Fasten off and leave yourself a good sized tail. I'd say about 12-14 inches. So this is what we've got at this point. This is going to be for sewing it. Now you're going to want to sew it rather quickly once this comes together, so go ahead and thread your needle before you roll this up. Okay, now you're going to start from either end really, because it's pretty much the same, but I always start from the end that doesn't have a thread. It's just easier. And forgive my nails. I'm working, this is the chain side that I have up towards you guys. And I'm just rolling it and keeping that chain level, like a little spiral of the chain. And then you take your needle, you don't even have to look, we're working on faith here. And you just go through. So I'm going through each layer so nothing ends up poofing out. And I will put these on anything I make for a newborn. The front of a little cocoon, you name it, because they're just so cute. Look, it's a little tiny rosette. You can open it up a little bit, boop, because it's layers. And then take a peek, see if it needs any TLC. So if it's gaping anywhere, or if it needs to kind of look secure, you can fix that up before you sew it on. Now, this is the second one of a pair, so I want to make sure I put it on the right side. So I like them on the outside. So it's going to be this booty on this side. So I'm already threaded up. I'm just going to go in where I want it, come out somewhere secure, pull it until it's close, and then you can place it. And you just go through the center, just like you were before. Wait till you see him. There he is. And you don't want to like stab straight down where you see, because then it's going to be really obvious. You kind of want to go back toward the center. And then come out toward the center, because you really don't want to see where you sewed it on. And you can tighten up as you go. Give it a little yank. I have that tail right there. We'll deal with that in a moment. Go back in. I do it about 8 times. Probably more than I need to, but I find that it's necessary. That's about the time it starts feeling secure and less wobbly, like I've attached a weird little marble here. Awesome. So go ahead and do that several times. And now this little guy that's been in the way the whole time, I'm going to send my needle all by itself through my booty. Then at the very end, I'm going to thread it with that little guy. Then pull the needle through so it can go through. And inside out. And get a little square knot if your fingers will let you. Hopefully you were a little bit luckier with the tail than I was. There we go. Okay, so we have our square knot. Snip 1, snip 2. Feel free to go with that school glue or fray or anti-fray if you'd like. And there you have them. They are complete. Now let's make a little shamrock and I will send you on your way. Okay, just in case you want to make these lucky shoes, go ahead and grab a strand. This is going to be a magic circle. So you pinch the tail, go over, under, over, secure with your finger. I have a video on magic knot or magic circle if you need one. I'll try and link it down below. So now you're going to go, this is your ring finger side, because this is the strand that this is your tail, so you can't work on this side. So go under, grab, and pull. Twist up, grab your yarn, and you're going to chain for 2. Now it's pretty secure. Go ahead and pinch that when you let it go. And we're going to be working over this side of the circle so we can cinch it closed at the end. I like to work over the double strand. This is going to be very simple, and you're just going to do this repeat a couple times. You just chain 2. So chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, slip stitch. You're going to do that 3 more times. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, slip stitch. That's 2. Number 3, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, slip stitch. Last one for luck. This might need its own video. What do you think? Shamrock brooch? Ooh, this last one's getting to be challenging. Chain 2, slip stitch. Okay, now you have those 4 little bumpies. Take that tail, bring it, awesome. And now you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to slip stitch, not into the first one, but the second, third, and fourth. So slip stitch 1, insert, drop a loop, come through everything. Next one, and the third one. Awesome. And then you can go ahead, and we need to tighten and cinch this down a bit more. Now to do this, I like to lay it down. Make sure I have the one I'm going to pull. I'm going to pull that tail, and I just put my finger over it so it doesn't tend to go anywhere. You might have to lift up your finger again if it's getting in the way. Go for it. Simply Soft is really strong, so you can pull this off. And now I'm going to go ahead and, this is the tail, this is the working yarn. It's still attached. I've just slip stitched the 3 times up. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and fasten off. I have a little bit of a tail because we're going to make a little knot just to secure it that much more. And I'm going to make a knot on the back side of my shamrock with the tail of both ends. There we go. Sometimes knots are frowned upon in crochet, but sometimes they're just really useful. Okay, and you can sew this on with either or both ends if you'd like, but you have an itty bitty shamrock. Isn't he precious? Well, I hope you have a lucky, lucky day and enjoy your baby and enjoy any babies that other people are letting you gift to. If you have any questions or comments or you'd like to see me make any other baby items, please let me know down below, or if you just want to say hello in the comments. I always love saying hey to you guys. Let me know what you're making aside from Booties, and have a fabulous day. Oh, just in case, all my socials are down below, all the links to everything you would need, all of my favorite items on Amazon, and I greatly appreciate it if you use any of my links. Take very good care, and I'll see you in a couple. Bye guys!